Sun Life of Canada is an international financial services company providing a wide range of products for individuals and companies, including life assurance protection, mortgage provision, pensions, and savings and investment opportunities. It is one of the largest life assurance companies in the world and started trading in the United Kingdom in 1893. Today, it has a network of branches stretching from Aberdeen to Plymouth. Like many modern international companies, Sun Life of Canada has its own purpose-built head office building. It is an imposing and original structure of distinct character that elegantly creates the stimulating and pleasant atmosphere demanded of a 20th century working environment. Like many modern international companies, Sun Life of Canada is a company that is changing. Change is not new. It has always occurred. It is a fact of life. But as the centuries have rolled away, the rate of change has increased. At Sun Life of Canada, change means growth. More people, and therefore more technology like computer terminals, screens and keyboards, all of which take up space within the office environment. The success and growth of the company has led it to expand into adjoining offices in the business district of Basingstoke. Southern Cross is one of 2 additional buildings where Sun Life of Canada can now be found. The other is Churchill Plaza. Into these locations, the company has spread, sometimes moving hundreds of people at a time from one building to another, each person requiring office furniture and the ever-present information and telecommunications technology. In 1987, when the company moved into its prestigious head office building, the technological needs of the workforce were very different from today. Each person now requires more desk space than ever before, different storage space, and ergonomically designed seating. The needs of the users may have changed, but the office furniture used within Sun Life of Canada has remained the same, until now. So what is involved in a move, and why has Sun Life of Canada changed its range of office furniture? As head of the team responsible for relocating departments within Sun Life of Canada, Ken Rusling, Director of Administrative Services, explains.
I guess in a fast-moving office environment, the word old comes around rather quickly these days. Back in the mid-80s, it was quite easy to pick up a desk and move it maybe a few feet or even further if it was required. As the workstation became the piece of furniture that we were working with, that was more difficult because suddenly these things called wires appeared, and they were getting more and more voluminous, almost spaghettis of wires coming out the backs of computers and printers. And so, yes, wire management, looking after them, was very important. And it meant that, yes, the floor box needed to be very adjacent to where all the wires came out the back of the equipment. This made moving fundamentally more difficult. We couldn't just shift something from here to there, because with it we had to move the floor box and all the services within.
Cliff Ostrand, Facilities Management Coordinator, explains further.
Over the last 10 years, the philosophy for the furniture has been an inherited design that the furniture itself gives us. We have a furniture range that we've used in the head office building for some time that enables us to change areas. We can change a desk from one position to another position, but that means lifting that desk or taking it apart, putting it back together somewhere in another fashion. And the furniture has been strong enough to be able to adapt to these strong designs. Also, we've had to rip up the floor. We have to move the floor box, add new carpet tiles before we can do this. And if you take over a large department of 100 desks, the tonnage involved and the work involved is immense.
Cost has been spiralling away. Every time we pick up people and move them, there are high costs because of the number of disciplines that have to be involved. The people that dig up the floor and look after the electrics, the specialists on telecommunications and data, the specialist office furniture removal people who can take things apart, put them back together. They're just a few of the disciplines that need to be involved in a basic office move. Very costly and something really we must try to control. We needed to stop and design workstations which would not have to keep chasing around, that would stay still, and local management could manage their staff by moving the staff around into these static workstations. So by changing direction, hopefully we're going to get the benefits of cost control and added benefit of less disruption to the staff, and the jobs can flow just a little bit more smoothly.
Does this mean that in future departments won't get a choice in how their work areas are laid out?
Because the new furniture is based around a screen-based furniture range, we can lift the screen up like a curtain and close an area off. But equally, we can take a bit off of it and lower it down to open up an area. The actual footprint the furniture occupies can become bigger or smaller without moving the furniture. The flexibility of the furniture system that has been specifically chosen because of its flexibility and versatility allows for departments to grow and shrink without causing any undue restrictions on whoever else is on that floor.
So we were looking to be able to keep the desking stable, to keep it still, and to move the people.
Moving people is simple. It takes very little effort. Moving desking takes a huge amount of effort, a huge amount of money, and a dedication of a very small band of people.
In the summer of 1997, Building Services moved over 110 people and furniture onto the 9th floor of Churchill Plaza. It was the ideal opportunity to test the new philosophy of office layout. But first, a new range of furniture had to be chosen that would be flexible enough to meet the requirements of that philosophy.
I've had a contact with a guy for about 15 years, and he wasn't what I would call the big pressure salesman. He used to phone me from time to time, no more frequently than maybe 6 months. And the only piece of business that he'd done with Sun Life of Canada in 15 years was to sell a few bits of reception furniture for our Southern Cross building in Basingstoke. And all of a sudden, Jerry Schall from Workspace had this opportunity to impress and to show us that they had a product that we could use now and into the future.
Jerry Schall, Director of Workspace, explains.
Workspace is a company which is a sales organisation for the supply of office furniture. Its main supplier, accounting for something like 80% of our business, is an Irish manufacturer called Farrells, based just north of Dublin in Southern Ireland.
I mentioned to him that we were looking at a change of direction with general office furniture. He persuaded me to go to the little place they've got at Smithbrook Kilns near Guildford, a showroom which showed some Irish furniture. And suddenly there was this range of furniture that seemed to be standing out from the crowd, as it were. Well, having been excited by it, I came back and talked to my colleague Cliff Astrand, who then went and looked at the technical sides and the flexibility, because it's all very well if it looks okay, but we have to work with it and make sure that any new range of furniture is going to do what we wanted.
Within about the first 5 or 10 minutes, I got the impression that they weren't salespeople. They were actually people like me who feel very keenly about furniture.
Cliff visited us, and I have to say, Cliff is a man who has, by his own reckoning, something like 6 brochures of other people's furniture arriving on his desk on a daily basis. He is extremely familiar with furniture, and he came out to see us probably sceptically. He left as an advocate of Farrells, undoubtedly. He was highly impressed with what he saw. He was pleased with the aesthetic look of the product, and some of the advantages over his current system that we managed to outline to him.
Before awarding Farrells and Workspace the contract, Clifford Strand had to be convinced of the supplier's ability to provide the service and quality of finish he was looking for.
A short time later, we went over to Ireland. We met the owners of the factory. We went round another showroom. We went to every part of that factory to see how their staff reacted to the work that was going through. We saw the quality of the product as it left the factory and as it was being built through the factory, and it was fascinating.
In the tech centre at the factory, Cliff indicated that he wanted a special tray to support the services element, which was clippable to the screen system.
Something called a shed, which was a screen-hung electrical ducting. I suddenly had this terrible fear that not one of them understood what I was talking about. However, there was a big burly Yorkshireman there, and he cottoned on to what I was saying. And the next morning he'd made what I wanted. And it was there, and everybody could see what I was talking about. And everybody saw that, yes, that's a good idea.
It's fair to say that both Ken and Cliff were highly impressed by that. And that was one of a whole series of situations where questions were being put to us by Sun Life of Canada, and we were responding with the answer, a positive answer. Yes, we can do that.
Sometime during that trip over there, Ken made the decision that we'd buy 6 workstations. I'm sure Farrell would have given us 6 workstations on loan for us to try, but it always seems to be unethical to ask companies to supply goods that you may or may not buy 6 months down the road. I think we've done the ethical thing. We brought the 6 workstations and we set them up on Churchill Plaza 9th floor and invited people to come and see and sit at them and look at them and see what they felt. We had feedback, and it was all positive feedback.
As a result of that evaluation process, the decision was made to adopt this style of furniture for future office interior design. For the moves on the 9th floor of Churchill Plaza, they were working with different suppliers of furniture, installing a range of units that were completely different to the rest of the company, and working with a smaller construction crew than on previous major installations. As if that wasn't enough, they knew before they started that they would always be up against the clock. This is the story of that move. Churchill Plaza sits opposite Sun Life of Canada's British headquarters office in one of the business centres of Basingstoke. Adjacent to Churchill Plaza is a bus depot. Access to the depot is from the main road. Buses must leave by a separate exit that runs beneath Churchill Plaza. Between these 2 points is the loading bay for goods being delivered to the building. For safety reasons, it was essential to keep this area clear so that buses could manoeuvre free from obstruction. This would be difficult with 45-foot articulated lorries delivering furniture. It was a potential problem Clifford Strand was sensitive to. However, as he greeted the first lorry, he was undoubtedly unaware of just how much of a problem it would be.
Well, it's there anyway. Pink, 1 dot red, and 1 dot blue is that equals that red, that equals that blue. Yeah, there's a glaze piece on here.
There is
This
this one
should be glazed.
difference with this. You have sufficient tiles to remove this tile like oh, put that caps off. That off, put the base one on.
Unfortunate, but it'd be made up in 2 weeks' time because it'd be on the other wagon, yeah? Yeah.
On the morning of the second day, Clifford Strand and his team were met by an inconsiderately parked vehicle obstructing access to the loading bay. It was nearly an hour before the driver was located and he finally agreed to move his car. Once the loading bay was clear, the team faced another problem. The lift had stopped working. A service contractor on call-out had apparently been contacted, but Clifford Strand was anxious to ensure that he did actually arrive.
Yeah, he's 20 minutes away, 25 minutes away on the M3, he's coming down. He got stuck in the troop in the colour of the gridlock there. He said he couldn't help it, he sends his apologies.
Yeah, that's great.
You know,
it's not me,
yeah.
it's you. It's your contract. But I'm being affected by what's happening.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah, but I mean, we had the problem. I made the phone call and said, look, we need it here. We got.
I didn't even know there was a problem to
got
start
that,
with,
yeah.
you see, so I'm grateful you did.
So the lift works okay, but what you've got to keep in account, with that shutter downstairs open, there's a lot of wind. Because it's so light, it may keep the door open.
Despite the problems, the move was proceeding on schedule. As the technical services team reinstalled the office equipment, it seemed apparent that the new furniture was already making an impact.
Quality furniture, eh?
In Ireland, the factory had been producing furniture for some weeks in readiness for the final stages of the move. Amongst the items of furniture involved were 148 specially designed and fabricated desktops, 143 pedestals, 85 cupboards, 300 specially designed and fabricated sheds, and a mixture of 3,200 glass or fabric screen tiles.
Checking the material looks the same colour as the last lot we had installed. That is how much more space we require, is that what you're
No,
saying?
we've got it halfway down the panel and then the head drawers come out further than that once it gets the surface. Not quite, it's
I mean, it's the same solution. We take off those two there and put a leg there. That's the only way it's going to work.
When planning the layout of an office, one has to assume that fixed features, such as pillars, are consistent in size and that the dimensions on plans supplied are accurate. In Churchill Plaza, it transpired that none of the pillars were actually square.
The corner bracket will hang off of this one, won't it? Supporting that end anyway. Yeah. And we'll just put an A-leg in there. We'll have to take these two out and move the whole thing that way. No other way we're going to work, is it?
People coming downstairs. Linda Beach, I think she's got her PC on this desk. I'm almost certain it is, but if we can leave her till last.
The installation of technical equipment signalled that the move on the 9th floor of Churchill Plaza was nearly complete.
The printer's going to go here.
Right, so I need to have that one there.
We're going to patch it in with the another printer which is coming down from Ravi's area. We're going to have to patch it into the same network.
The whole project has been very rewarding. I think firstly it's been particularly rewarding to be able to break out from this obligation to continue buying the same range of furniture just because we've got a pile of it already, and to think about what is now applicable to today's office environment, to then work with a person, Jerry Schall, and then a company who were bending over backwards to give us Sun Life of Canada exactly what we wanted. Very, very, yes, again, rewarding to see that that attitude was out there in the marketplace, somebody who wanted to satisfy our needs. So, yeah, we've got a big benefit by a new supplier and some new expertise to help us in our quest to provide what we need to be doing our business with. Yes, the rewards of a project itself are very good, but it's good to see at the end of it the users, I think pretty well everyone is saying, yeah, I like this product.
It's very much the same sort of layout, but as I said, there's more room and there seems to be more people in a smaller space, although we feel like we've got a lot more space to ourselves.
Before upstairs we had an open plan for the whole department, but now we've actually been separated into little sections, so the team members are more closely grouped together. So in terms of working, it's easier to focus with your team members.
Really like the colours. I think they're a lot warmer than they used to be. And I think the depth of the desk is really good because there's more space and your terminal can be pushed right out the way as well. And there's no more other sharp angles that we used to have.
There's a lot of room, good storage facilities, good lighting, and it's comfortable.
The events that took place during the move on the 9th floor of Churchill Plaza were typical of the traditional way of moving people and furniture within Sun Life of Canada. What was not typical was the price tag. The Workspace furniture provides a new, high-quality alternative to the previous design of furniture at 70% of the cost. The next move that takes place in that area will involve the practical application of the philosophy of moving the people, not the furniture, and will be a fraction of this cost. The philosophy of moving people and not furniture will make a significant contribution to the control of company costs. But the philosophy will only work with the full support of departmental managers. Were those involved in the move on the 9th floor convinced of the benefits of the new furniture and its layout?
Personally, very pleased with my office and the standard of the equipment. I think the most positive thing I can say about the move itself is this is the first move I've been involved in where I've not had one single moan. So I'm very pleased with that. Generally, on the positive side, people are very impressed with the standard of the furniture. And the quality is genuinely appreciated. People think they've had some money spent on them and they like that.
The furniture is very good and the staff like it. The furniture itself is very aesthetically pleasing, and basically the staff and myself feel very comfortable in the area. Initially, the managers in the areas specifically asked for a certain layout of the desks to allow their staff an individual work area, but also because we work in very much in teams, so they could communicate with the team easily. When I went up to see Cliff and seen the plans on the system, it actually worked out to be identical to what we required. And as it's turned out, they have exactly that. They're able to have their own work area, as well as easily communicate with the rest of the team. But if they need to, they can just turn around and concentrate specifically on the task that they need to.
I guess the reality will be that the philosophy of changing to let's keep the furniture where it is and move the people will probably spread through to all the other existing furniture we've got, where it applies, so that we can begin to try to get the benefits. And then obviously as time goes by, there will be plenty of opportunity to continue this excellent relationship that we've started with Workspace and with Farrells.
A success story indeed, one made all the more poignant by a coincidence uncovered during one of the team's inspection visits to Farrells. The furniture manufacturer, based in the small market town of Ardee, about 30 miles north of Dublin, now turns over approximately £10 million per annum. It was started in 1961 by the managing director, Oliver Farrell. When faced with having to raise capital to launch his fledgling business, he sought advice on how to cash in a life assurance policy for the £50 surrender value. The advice he received was unexpected. He was told not to cash in the policy, but to use it as security for a loan for £50 from the bank. Today, Oliver Farrell still has that policy in force, and a successful international business to go with it. The company that provided both his policy and the advice? Sun Life of Canada.